With our next guest, he is the ultramarathon runner with a huge heart, running from the North to the South Pole to help the Red Cross. Now, Pat Farmer is taking on an even bigger challenge, running to bring peace to the Middle East. Talk about ambitious. Pat joins us now. We've got a bit of a map there of the route you're going to be taking on the run. You don't set yourself small goals, do you, Pat?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, Deb, one of the things I've said is a man should be judged by the size of his heart rather than the size of his stature. And with that in mind, you know, a lot of people want peace in the Middle East. They want peace in their own backyards, you know, but very few people actually do anything about it. So this run is all about committing people to actions.
You put words into action, certainly. It's great. Now, why do you think, though, that you're going to succeed in this seemingly intractable task of bringing peace to the Middle East, where others like Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, they've failed? How will you actually make big steps for that?
Well, Deb, I'm part of a world organisation called Sport for Peace and Development. And we know that when we have sport in countries where, for instance, if we have the Olympics or we have a major sporting event, there's a lot of development and a lot of infrastructure built in that country that wouldn't normally happen. So too, you'll get countries from all over the world competing on the same playing fields together, whether it be a game of soccer, football, boxing, whatever. And so sport bridges those gaps, and there are no agendas. Often politicians have an agenda. They're trying to get the best deal for themselves, for their country, or stay elected, and so they're saying things they think people want to hear. Whereas this is all about ordinary people running with me day after day on the road, and also back here in Australia, pardon me, back here in Australia. And I want to encourage Australians to dedicate a run to this very cause, and then to jump onto the website and say, hey, you know what, I was moved into action by what Pat's doing. So instead of just saying I support peace, I'm actually doing something about it. So I ran 1 kilometre, 5 kilometres, a half marathon, a marathon, and I dedicate this run, take a photo of themselves and dedicate this run to the cause. And
creates a pretty powerful petition if you've got a lot of people on side.
Oh, absolutely. We get 500,000, 1 million people on side doing just that. It makes a very powerful petition to take to the politicians, not only at the United Nations, but indeed in these countries, and also back here in Australia. And plus, the other point too is, I want the Middle East, I want places like Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, and of course Jordan, to be seen for the beauty that they have, rather than the negativity that we're all the time hearing about. So, you know, I'm very fortunate to have great supporters, great sponsors on board. I have people from the Lebanese community, like Nut Roasters, on board. I have High Vita on board, looking after my vitamin supplements and people like that. All from different parts of the world. They come together in this melting pot called Australia, and they want to do some good for the rest of the world.
And you had a great launch as well. Tony Abbott was there when you launched this run. And I love the fact that he said that, because you're running through a lot of areas that aren't exactly safe and aren't considered very safe. And Tony Abbott made the point that the fact that you're running there shines the light of peace on a lot of these areas to begin with.
Well, do you know what, Deb? At that launch on Wednesday, we had the ambassador of Israel there in the room with people from the delegation of Lebanon there. We had Palestinian representatives there from the Palestinian delegation there as well. And we had the ambassador to Jordan there in the room. They're all talking amongst themselves. They're all having cups of tea and having a chat about the whole thing and saying what a great initiative this was. So people want peace. They want this to happen. But like I say, often, because of different agendas, things get stalled or whatever. And all I'm saying is ordinary people want something done about this situation. We saw it happen in Northern Ireland. It was the women walking arm in arm saying, we don't want our children to die any longer. We want change. And it was those women that made change. So what I'm saying is ordinary people and sports people can make a difference.
So small steps can definitely do it, but they're not small steps that you're taking, the equivalent of 2 marathons every day. I know you're fit, but gee.
Yeah, approximately 1,500 kilometres total distance from the Cedars of Lebanon up in the mountains east of Tripoli. From there I'll head across into Tripoli, from there down into Beirut, and from Beirut across into Amman, from there all the way down to Aqaba, a beautiful part of the world down there near the Red Sea. And there I'll cross the border on into Israel, across to Eilat, and from Eilat all the way up to Tel Aviv, and from there around through Ramallah and into Jerusalem. People will be able to follow my journey on patfarmer.com. They'll also be able to dedicate a run. They'll be able to jump on board there and dedicate a run. I'm asking people to upload, you know, hashtag me at peacerun.com, me peacerun. asking people just to get involved in this run, see what I'm doing on a daily basis. And, of course, I'll be reporting back to you guys from some of the most exotic places on earth.
We'll be checking in with you during the course of the run. Don't you worry about it. All the best and good luck, and it's a great challenge.
Thanks very much, Deb. And, of course, there'll be a documentary on this at the end of the run back here on Channel 9.
Can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Good on you, Pat. We'll have all the details on the run.